Hello everyone, my name is Ellis Owens. I also go by Clark Kent 434, which was my Air Force call sign, and when I was in the military, and now is my gamer tag. And today I'm going to be talking about some of the game balances that you might have seen. Other YouTubers are also talking about it, but I feel like they have kind of left some things out. Important senior game developer. He worked for DICE. Alan Kurtz. He's been posting information on about changes that they're looking on balancing a Battlefield, which I'm very glad to hear that there's, instead of just working on bugs, that they're finally going to balance the game. Finally get some weapons and stuff that actually feel good and look right. And so I think this is well deserved. And so and I think this is about time, you know, because there's definitely things that are not balanced properly: helicopters, weapons, vehicles, and so this is definitely needed. The first thing he mentioned was DMRs, and I'm so glad they are addressed DMRs. DMRs, I think, changed a lot since they moved them from the recon class to every class. I think you see kind of a degress, and I really didn't like that real well. I was really not so happy about it. I mean, DMRs in Battlefield 3 they did 15 damage, which was a 2-shot kill. They also had lower recoil. And so they also had lower ammo. So overall in Battlefield 3, that's how they performed in 3. If you were very aggressive with the DMR, it paid off. And if you like to play aggressive, and I liked playing aggressive, that's my play style. And so in 3, I loved DMRs because when I played aggressive, I knew I got up close, I spammed the trigger, they had a low amount of recoil, I was pretty much accurate. I always came out on the top as long as I was up close. It was a 2 to 3 kill. Battlefield 4 rolls around, they make it a 3 to 4 kill. They double the ammo capacity and they double the recoil. Well, I don't really care about an increased ammo capacity because now DMRs are for any class, but to double the recoil, man, some of the DMRs are just practically uncontrollable. So it's very, very difficult to use them. So what will they do? Will they reduce the recoil, or will they change the damage model? Personally, I like them to see they change the damage model more than the recoil. I think a lot of people are starting to get used to the recoil pattern. Some of the DMRs I think I like better with their recoil pattern than others. I'm really liking the Ace 53 DMR. That one I really like the recoil pattern, and the Scar SV. But, I mean, I would love to see it that way. So, we'll see what they do. I don't think they'll balance both the recoil and the damage model. I think that'll be too much. But we're going to see. But definitely it's going to be coming up. And remember, there is going to be an update by sometime the end of January, the beginning of February. That's when it's slotted for update number 5. So this is when we're going to see that. Besides a whole much more bug fixes. And that's when they're going to see our first balancing of the game, which is a good thing. So the next thing he mentioned is the V40s and Argos. So Argo is also the impact grenades. The V4 minis and the Argos. And I think I didn't really think of that they were overpowered. But then after he mentioned it, I sat there and thought about it. I was like, yeah, they are kind of overpowered. You see a lot, especially on Locker, people just spam grenades and become grenade spammers. And I thought Argos were pretty much balanced. They are impact grenades. They land, they blow up. That's it. You can bounce an Argo one time. I've actually done it once or twice. I've seen it. They're a little bit hard to do. But the V40s I knew were kind of overpowered. I've got some crazy. I got killed before with V40s that I didn't think I'd get killed by. So, but I kind of realized that the V40s were overpowered, but the Argos, I didn't really think they're overpowered. The impact grenades. He later on addressed that the V40s are a really big issue in hardcore. The mini grenades, and I know that they're built for a longer range. What he'd been looking at mainly is they mentioned about a smaller impact, looking at the small explosion sound and the effect of the V40s. And so I was like, okay, they think that I'm not sure what they mean by smaller explosion sound. Apparently there is sound mechanics. I do understand that. If you throw a hand flare out, you kind of hear a fizzing sound. And you throw a smoke grenade, it makes kind of whoosh of the smoke going out. Apparently, I didn't realize that the explosive grenades actually have sound mechanics. They all sound the same to me, but maybe they're going to change the sound mechanics, so each one kind of has a different sound mechanics, especially to the V40. And what he means by the effect, I'm not sure what that means, but he did say small impact wins, so I'm thinking they're looking at radius being impact. But I'm really going to be excited about that. They're also looking at reducing the spammability. So he did also mention that being a less effective grenade and reduce spam, which, you know, they have reduced spams on other things. If you look at the UCAV, which is a support class weapon, and I have it unlocked, it's kind of a pain to get it unlocked. It's an anti-armor support class weapon. When it was released with the China Rising DLC for premium members, it had like a respawn of 20 seconds. And then once China Rising went to the public, it went up to 90. They changed it in the server. So I think they're going to do that. They're going to go in and they're going to change the respawn, or how long it takes it for you to reload from an ammo box. And I think that will be okay, because then you play something like Locker, and there is a DLC coming out, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Dragon's Tail is the urban DLC. There is an urban DLC coming out later on, and I think that would be good, because then you won't have people just constantly chucking grenades, and it just becomes hard in a firefight when you have just a wall of grenades. So I think this is going to be very well deserved. Something else he mentioned is flashbangs and hand flares. Well, flashbangs, I was kind of really excited that he finally addressed that. Now, if you get hit by a flashbang, and if it's from the side, it's not really that effective. But if you get hit direct on, and I think I've only had it happen maybe 2 or 3 times, oh my goodness! And I'm gonna cut a clip in here. It's probably somewhere in my gameplay that you'll hopefully will see. And it is crazy what happens. You get hit by a flashbang direct on, because it's actually really good. But that impact of that happening is a very small chance. You don't really get to have that happen very often, and it doesn't happen, like I said, very often. So it's a very small chance. So them actually buffing the flashbangs, I think, is a good thing. When I tried them out originally, I used to run flashbangs on the M320, and I found that was probably my most effective way of using it. But still, then it really does need to buff. I think once they get buffed, a lot more people are going to start using it. It's going to be a lot more effective in the way that they use it. So that's something that they're definitely going to be great. The hand flares, I was kind of surprised that they're going to buff hand flares. Maybe they don't think the light is bright enough. I have noticed that you kind of can get around the light if you're using like an infrared sight or something. So that might be good that they kind of buff hand flares, especially if they're going to do an urban DLC. And I expect them to do some dark corridors and stuff. So that will be a good thing. There is speculations on the hand flares that there'll be some way to signal to commanders or something. That might be true. I don't know if that's true or not. It's a rumor. So I'd like to see that. That would be pretty cool. You throw a hand flare out, and it would signal to a commander, hey, we need to drop here or something. or drop ammo or can't or something like that. Granted that the commander can already, not the commander, but the squad leader can already call in stuff, and people don't realize that the squad leader can already do that. But that kind of leaves the squad mates kind of stuck. You know, sometimes you're in a squad and your squad mate and you need something, but your squad leader won't call it in because they don't have a mic or whatever. So that could become useful. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the hand flares. I'd like to see what they're going to do with that. So, moving on, something else that they're going to be reducing is the MAA, the mobile anti-air. And what they're looking at the mobile anti-air is they say it's kind of overpowered. And I actually agree. Anytime I can get in the MAA, I actually just wreck face. I've actually taken out tanks with that thing before. You gotta be skillful in it, but you can do it. So I'm glad that they're actually going to reduce that. There's some suggestions of what they're going to look at it. They're looking at reducing the missile count. Typically, you start out with 2 missiles, and then you start out with 4 in the reserve. They're looking to reduce, and that's a total of 6. They're looking at starting with 2 missiles and 2 in the reserve, so you start out with 4. The active missiles on that are just amazing. I mean, they just lock on and they'll just blow anything out of the sky, and that's really, really good. People are also complaining that the ranges of the weapons are a little bit too far. I didn't really think that, but apparently they are. They'll probably reduce them. The 30mm cannon will probably get a pretty good reduction, and the 20mm will probably get a reduction. So, and I do agree the AA is pretty much overpowered, but I think it's probably overpowered is probably because some of the vehicles are not probably the best that they can be. So it looks like the mobile AA is overpowered. So that kind of brings me to my next topic, which is the helos. And they do understand that the helo is pretty much messed up. So they're going to address 2 helos. They're going to address the scout and the attack. So they're going to look at both of them. For the attack, they're looking at maybe either doing a higher rate of fire on the rockets. The Zuni rockets have a higher direct damage, and rocket splash radius is increased. So if you don't realize, direct damage is actually the damage that is multiplied to armor. So anytime you have direct damage, that's more damage to armor. Now splash damage is more of the damage that is done to infantry. So so that's how when I say direct, that means anti-armor, splash, anti-infantry. So if they're gonna make the Zunis more anti-armor, and then the rockets, I don't know which ones, they just said rockets in general, you're going to increase their splash radius. So that probably means all 3 types, smart, Zuni, and the basic rockets. So I think that's going to be a good thing. I mean, there were some suggestions that he put out there on Twitter to see what people's thoughts were. And I'm going to have the Twitter link down below in the description. He also mentioned the attack gunner, maybe making the gunner for the attack kilo have a higher damage, direct damage for his cannon. So that means it will be higher direct damage, so it would be more anti-infantry, more anti-armor. So that's something to look at. People did definitely address that they need to look at definitely working on some type of survivability with the AA, because it just does not have it's a couple people mentioned that it's not so much the firepower, it's more of the survivability. So they're also probably going to look at survivability, and I bet they'll do probably some health bump up on that. And you know, if the health gets bumped up on the attack helicopter, people are probably going to realize with the decrease in the MAA that the attack helicopter might become too overpowered. We're going to see on that one. What they did mention on the scout helicopter, they looked at maybe on the 25mm guns lowering the splash damage, and and so that if they're going to lower the splash on the so they're going to lower the splash damage, so and make it a little bit more higher direct damage. So meaning that the 25mm cannons will be more anti-vehicle and less anti-infantry. So when they run with those 25mm cannons, you'll be more, like I said, more anti-vehicle. So that means if you want to do anti-infantry, you need to run miniguns. So that's something that he did propose out there, and I think some people, I think, kind of agreed with that. So that will be kind of interesting. You do look at a lot of the vehicles. The transport helicopter and the attack boats, they do run miniguns on the side for kind of clearing out infantry. And I think if he does go that route, that would be kind of good, because the attack helicopter has a cannon in the front. They don't really say the size. I think it's a 25 as well, and they're proposing it to increase a higher direct damage. And so the scout, if they do decide to go the scout, the change the 25mm cannons to be less splash damage, that means it's, people are not going to run the 25mm cannons anymore, because if they do, I mean, they're going to fire at infantry. Yes, it's going to kill them, but it's going to take a whole lot longer to kill them. I mean, you're going to be better to run with the miniguns if you want to go anti-infantry. So I think people are going to really think about changing up their play style and stuff, or they're going to switch back to the miniguns, because I mean, they're not horrible. So, but that's something to do, definitely. They're also looking to change the scout cannons to tweak it, because they're better at all targets than the miniguns, and that was something that they really addressed. Everyone runs the scout cannons because they kill everything, infantry, vehicles, everything, and they're going to try to change it, either to design it to be more weaker better at one or the other, vehicle or infantry, one or the other. So that was something to be addressed. He did mention that definitely the repair box on the scout is too much, so that they're going to see some type of change there, probably a reduction. So I don't know whether that's going to be a 20, a 30, probably not a 50. So that means a reduction in repair, and that's the repair rate. So that's going to be a good thing, because that means it's going to take a lot longer for you to repair the same amount of repair that you have. So now when you repair, especially if you have 2 engineers, it doesn't take no time at all to get that helicopter repaired, right up to max. Now, once they put that fix in, it's going to take a whole lot more repairing to do to get up to the same level. It's going to take a lot more repairing, because it's going to be at a slower rate. So, and that would be good, because if it's at a slower rate, it makes the helicopter a lot more vulnerable. Yes, you can repair it in flight, but then it's not going to be as efficient, because being at a slow rate, it's going to have a higher chance of dying, and that gives the chance for the other team to kill it, instead of, because it's very hard when you have 2 engineers, because even if it's a slightly skilled pilot and you have 2 engineers, that the thing is a flying tank. And so with a slower rate, it'll give it a better chance. You don't need like a army of engineers with stingers and stuff trying to shoot it out of the sky, and you might just need 1 or 2 engineers, and it'll just take it out of the sky, even with a scout helicopter with 2 engineers repairing it. So that slow repair rate will be a whole lot better. So I'm glad to see these balances go in there. I'd love to try the DMRs afterward. I think they're going to be really good. I think you're going to see a lot more people start using them, and the grenades. So, and I think this is going to be a really good change. So I'll keep you guys updated. Once the patch is out, I'll give you guys the down low and everything. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.